cloudy and cool, not cold here in Northeast Ohio. As you could probably tell by his outfit and the background, it's probably very warm where Dustin is live from the Buckeye Cruise with his Buckeye basketball jersey. Where are you currently?
We are currently about to dock at Grand Turk. Just down
Turks
here
and
near
Caicos?
yeah, it's in like the bigger island.
Yeah.
Off of Turks and Caicos, and we are just about to basically dock and get off and go
Nice.
explore.
How's the weather been so far?
It's been good. I mean, yesterday was a little bit like windy, so it was choppy. It was really choppy. Like the boat was really rocking the first couple of days. But thankfully, I've got my patch on my ear to help with my motion sickness. You would need this patch too, big time, because you got that vertigo, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't even know if I could. I probably could get on a boat that big. Like I've been on ferries, and I'm usually fine on a ferry, and these are bigger than ferries. But
you'd be fine. You'd be fine. I would recommend taking the patch or putting the patch on your ear, because it totally helps with the nausea. Yeah. But it's a hotel on freaking water, dude.
It is amazing. It is amazing. And obviously for a great charity as well.
Yep.
Raising money for cancer research.
Absolutely.
All right, before we get to our Plenty of Sports conversation here, let me tell you that Bet Rivers and the Bullpen are giving away our first bonus bet of the year to all the listeners, all of you listening right now. From now through February 22nd, you're running out of time because February 22nd is Sunday. Go to your Bet Rivers Ohio app, enter the code ATB202 to get a $10 bonus bet at Bet Rivers. That code again is ATB202. Available only in Ohio, must be 21, eligible players only. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Dustin, Tuesday I was solo, and I talked about the fact that the Browns had just hired a new defensive coordinator. But obviously you weren't with me because you're just getting going on the cruise. Yep. The Browns hire the one of the three finalists that was the least experienced. Shouldn't say least experienced. He just had never been a DC before. Do you care about that at all? Because obviously the guy is coming with very highly thought of. You know, we've heard from Jeff Ulbrich, the Falcons DC. A lot of people around the league speak highly of him. Do you care at all that he's never been a DC before?
No, I don't care. I mean, he's been in places where he's coached under really, really strong defensive coaches. I mean, you can look up the stats from where he's been. I mean, when he was in New York, they had a top 5 defense at times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, look, I don't know the Browns were in a great position to be the most appealing job. We talked about this on UCSS a ton, Adam. I mean, like the fact that Jim Schwartz had everything lined up. I mean, he thought he was going to be the guy. The players already are probably pissed off that he didn't get the job as the head coach.
Yeah.
So whoever comes in and takes this job, now it's Mike Rutenberg, there's a ton of pressure on him, for him to really kind of keep things going in the right direction from what they were last year. Like Myles Garrett had a historic great year. If he gets off to a slow start, people are going to be bitching. How's Myles going to be in the locker room?
Yeah.
How's the rest of the defense going to be in the locker room? Like, that concerns me a little bit. I don't know enough about this guy's personality other than the fact that everyone says he's like a high energy guy. He's likable. A lot of players speak very highly about him, that they love playing for him. So I think that's a positive. I just hope that the Browns veterans on defense can buy in immediately and give themselves a chance, because you got to give this guy a chance. I mean, he's young. He's 44. His first opportunity to be a DC, and he's going to coach arguably the best pass rusher in the history of football. So that's a good player for him to have in his first defensive coordinator position.
Obviously, another smart guy, went to Cornell, which is an Ivy League school. They love their Ivy Leaguers with the Browns, and he has a lot, as you said, a lot of experience. He's been with good defenses. As bad as the Jets have been, you're right. They've had some good defense. They've had some good defensive teams. They had some good defensive teams under him. He was with San Francisco, as you mentioned. So he's been in the NFL consistently since 2013. So you're talking a decade plus. And he actually, when he was 20 years old, or just about that, 22 years old, 21 years old, he was an intern with Washington. So this guy is a football lifer. It's all he wants to do. And so hopefully he will have success as his first crack at being a DC. You're right that and we've talked about it. it's a tough spot because if the defense goes backwards at all, fair or not, he's going to get the blame, and everybody's going to, it's easy. He'll be an easy target if it doesn't go well. But there's enough talent here that it shouldn't. If I'm Mike Rutenberg, the first call I made was to Myles Garrett. Let's go for lunch. Let me take you for dinner. Let's get together and because you got to get buy-in, right, from your best player. Denzel Ward too. I want buy-in from those two guys. If I get buy-in from those two guys, and I know that both of those guys are not traditional leaders, especially Myles Garrett. They're not like vocal leaders, but they lead by example. And if the player is bought in, right? So if Denzel and Myles buy in, the rest of the guys will buy in. I think that's the key. You think he's doing that? Those guys?
I agree 100%. Those are the highest paid guys.
Yeah.
They produce every week. If those guys continue to have the buy-in, everybody else will follow suit. And listen, if the Browns are going to have any chance to do anything this year, in terms of wins and losses in playoffs, sorry, there's a speedboat driving right behind me.
That's all right. Makes
actually,
it gives us a little warm feeling for everybody.
It's a jet ski, but anyway, no, if those guys buy in, then that's going to help the rest of the locker room. It's going to help the team. And like I was just sort of saying there, if the Browns are going to be a team that can legitimately contend this year, they're probably going to have to rely upon their defense.
Absolutely. Right. You got to get more if you're going to be a contender, then obviously the offense is going to have to be a lot better than it was last year. But if they're really going to be a contender, the defense has to be great because we know there's just so much better the offense is going to be. They're not going to be a top offense. You hope that they can be a middle-of-the-road offense, and if you are, and the defense plays like it did last year, then you got a chance. Speaking of win totals, Dustin, I saw that the first win totals were out this year, and I'm curious your take. So I don't know if let's see, did I tell you this? Okay. Did you overhear me say?
You mentioned these before we went live.
Did I say them? Did you hear them? I was going to have you guess them, or did you hear them?
You did, but I don't remember.
Okay, so let's take a guess. Let's see what you guess. You're usually pretty good at this type of thing. Let's start with the Steelers. What is the Steelers number?
Well, to be fair, this is the one I do remember you saying. The other ones I don't know.
Okay.
You said 8.5, right?
That is correct. Yes,
that's
you're right.
The only one I remember.
All right, Bengals. What's the Bengals?
9.
9.5, right there. The Ravens.
10.
10.5. And finally, the Browns.
5.5.
No, 6.5. I was a little surprised.
That's very surprising.
I think they were 5.5 last year.
They were.
They did. They won 5, obviously. So they're not. Now if you look at the odds on this first release, it was slightly in favor of the under on the 6.5. But I was a little surprised coming off a 5-win season with no clear answer at quarterback that it was 6.5. Now I think part of that is, at least on paper, the schedule looks very favorable this year. But most teams, when you look at the Browns on the schedule, you're saying, "Oh, we got the Browns," to some degree. I don't know how much that factors in, but I'm assuming your early lean would be on the under on 6.5.
Yeah, for sure. And unless there was some sort of a veteran presence at quarterback on the team, then did Zach talk about Malik Willis a little bit more? I saw some stuff on social. It's been hard to keep up. Because the internet, we're out of the country.
We'll get into Malik Willis.
Yeah, so that's fine. But I mean, I think I'd still take the under.
Now, you know what? Since you brought it up, so Zach Jackson of The Athletic was a regular contributor to this podcast. And Zach will be on with me next week from the Combine. Zach originally did not think that Malik Willis would be on the Browns' radar. And then yesterday, he said that he's changed his mind on that. Not that they're necessarily going to sign him or that even he thinks they should. But because it seems like the way the Browns are talking, Jimmy Haslam made a point of saying, hey, we think we should have won more games, that they may be more aggressive at that position than maybe he initially thought. And there's not that many teams. Like, how many teams are going to be interested in Malik Willis? Obviously, the Jets are a possibility. Everybody says the Dolphins because Jeff Hafley, who, he has that relationship there from Green Bay. It's so funny because the Packers got him for a 7th-round pick 2 years ago. Anybody could have had him. He went for essentially nothing, and now he might get a fairly sizable contract. But, Arizona could be in the mix. I mentioned Miami and the Jets. I guess Pittsburgh if Aaron Rodgers weren't coming back. But that's about it. I mean, there's not that many teams that are looking for a quarterback. The only other team that doesn't have a quarterback is the Raiders, and they're taking, obviously, Mendoza with the first pick. Every other team either has a quarterback or, they have a young quarterback that's unproven maybe, but they're not going to bring in another guy. What is your – I mean, Malik Willis has played less than Shedeur Sanders. He's far from a sure thing. Zach seems to think that Malik Willis is far more talented than Shedeur Sanders. Do you agree with that?
I do. I do agree with that. Sorry, they're making an announcement here as we just docked. So
okay.
if it comes in, just
that's all right.
kind of ignore it. You can hear the captain here on the ship.
That's right.
I'm interested in Malik Willis. I think he's got a lot of ability. You're right, though. I mean, he went for a 7th-round pick in Green Bay, to get him there. And then all of a sudden, he must have performed well in practice. He played, one start last year. I think it was the Ravens game. He looked all right. I'm certainly interested in him because I know we already have a quarterback in Cleveland. So I'll be fascinated to see how this thing goes. Zach did talk about, did they have the same agent, Deshaun Watson and Malik Willis?
Oh, I'm not sure about that.
I thought I saw something about that.
You think that would matter? I mean, do you think?
I don't know. I don't know if it really matters, but I did see that. I don't know, man. I think the win total is probably the perfect number. Right there. You said 6.5. I think it should be 5.5. Either way, I think they're right around the 5 to 6 wins this season, unless Todd Monken's a fucking genius and he just does some magic.
Yeah, and it's interesting. What the Browns is, we always think winning as many games as possible is the priority. That's been the case with the Steelers, but it's not always the case, right? Like I've said all along, if the Browns' number one goal is to win as many games as possible, then their quarterback's not on the roster right now. Because you have a number of quarterbacks that are potentially available. I don't even know if Malik Willis is one of them. Maybe he is. That would give you a better chance to win. Jameis Winston would give you a better chance to win. Kyler Murray would give you a better chance to win. Hell, if he were healthy, Tua would give you a better chance to win. Those are big ifs, and that's not the only goal because I don't think there's a quarterback the Browns could possibly have this year that would make them a legitimate playoff contender. So, yeah, you'd win more games with Kyler. I can't believe there's people trying to argue that Shedeur Sanders is better than Kyler Murray right now. That's just crazy.
I saw the clip from Ken and Lima this morning where Lima seemed to be smelling a little blood in the water.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And he was really poking the bear, being Ken Carman.
Yeah.
And he kind of put Ken in a little bit of a corner.
Yeah. Or as Ken would say, he put him in a shoot.
He put him in a shoot, yeah. He got worked into a shoot.
He got worked into a shoot, no doubt.
I don't think that Shedeur is better than Kyler Murray. I don't know how anybody can say that.
No. It's
not now. At least not now.
Could he be at some point? Sure, he
maybe,
could be.
Maybe in 5 years.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
it's not
in a few years. I don't know, but not now.
No, that's just silly. It's just silly. But anyway, but the goal, I don't know that the goal is just to win as many games as possible this year. It's to find out if you have a quarterback in the future. So, or even Mac Jones has been talked about. I think if they sign Malik Willis, he's the starter. End of conversation. I don't think there's a competition. I guess anything's possible, but if you sign Malik Willis, you're giving him guaranteed money. Now it's not like top quarterback money. Zach was saying probably $30 million over 2 or 3 years. A little, maybe like the Justin Fields contract last year with the Jets, but a little more than that.
Yeah.
But you sign a guy, he's very likely your starter. I mean, I think a lot of people think Shedeur's either the starter or he's in the competition to be the starter. And I think that's probably the case, but it wouldn't be the case, I believe. If they sign Malik Willis, to me, he's their starter.
Yeah, I think he's the starter from day one. It doesn't mean he's their starter long term.
No.
I think he's the starter for now. And I do think that they would probably let Shedeur compete. They should, if he's still here, unless they got rid of him. I don't think they would get rid of him.
No.
But I'd let him compete with Malik. I mean, and obviously, if he played better than him in practice and in the preseason, then you have a conversation about who's going to start.
Sure.
if you're going to give the guy $30 million, which by the way, it's no drop in the bucket.
Nope.
But it's not that most quarterbacks make over $30 million per year if you're a starter in this league.
Oh, and the good ones make over 40,
You know
50,
what I mean?
even 60.
So,
yeah.
Right. So it's not like, and again, because you're not paying any other quarterbacks on your roster.
Yeah.
I guess you'll be off the hook for Deshaun after this year. But and Shador's a rookie, so he's making no money. So I don't see a problem with them, at least kind of pursuing that and seeing if it could work. But that's the only quarterback I think that probably would come in here and be like, okay, yeah, he's going to be a starter. Don't you think? I mean, it's available unless you got Tua. That'd be the other one maybe.
Yeah, I mean, if you got Tua, you got Kyler Murray, those guys would be starters. But I think those things are all unlikely outside of Malik Willis. But
yeah,
I mean, Tua, you can't stay healthy. By the way, your rookie season in the NFL was what? 2005. 5. Okay. Do you know what the cap the cap per team was in 2005?
Well, what's the cap currently for the NFL?
$279.2 million.
It's 279 now.
279.2 million. 20 years ago, you made your NFL debut. What was the cap?
I'm going to guess it was 80 million.
Very close. 85.5. So in the last 20 years, the cap has gone up almost $200 million, which is almost 3 times. No, more than 3 times. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's just wild how the cap has jumped.
Well, my salary, my rookie year, the rookie minimum, was 270,
and now it's almost $1 million, I think, right?
So it's like 800,000 now.
Yeah. Well, think about the big jump recently, because from 2005, your rookie season, to 2015, it went from 85 to 143. That's a jump, but not a crazy jump. That's only $58 million. From 2015 to 2025, it went up from 143 to 279. Yeah. So it basically, the cap has basically doubled in the last 10 years. And that's 2025. I think the cap in 26 is going up even more. I don't know if it's set in stone yet, but the projected cap for this coming year, is $303.5 million, which I think is the biggest jump ever.
Yet the league can't pay for our health insurance. Okay.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts. So that means the cap's going up like $25 million just this year. That's crazy. It's the second biggest jump ever. Look at that. I mean, just since 2022 to this year, in 4 years, the cap has gone up $95 million in 4 years. Wow. That's how much of a cash cow that the NFL is. That is crazy. Crazy.
That's crazy work,
but it's good for everybody, right? Yeah, good. It's good for the players, good for the coaches, good for the owners, bad for the fans.
Doesn't help me out.
No, doesn't help us. Doesn't help the fans. We just got to pay more for tickets. That's all that does. Okay. Johnson Island says, are you getting ready for the boxing match Saturday? Ryan versus Barrios.
Who's fighting?
Ryan versus Barrios, Hitchens versus Duarte, Martin versus Albright. I never heard any of these guys. Are you into boxing?
No. Is it Braxton Barrios?
Maybe because of what you're wearing, he thinks you're getting ready for it?
I don't know.
Let's see.
I mean, he asked me, like, am I ready for the Delray Beach Open this weekend? I'd say absolutely.
Yeah, that's it.
Or if I'm watching Doha, I'd say sure.
Yeah, all right. I don't know. It's the tennis players. That's all I know. Only because you're talking about.
That's just the place where they're playing over in Qatar.
By the way, I sent you recently a clip or a headline about this movie that's about pickleball. Remember I texted you that?
Yes.
But the reason I sent that is, I don't know why it made me think of this all of a sudden, but I guess because you brought up tennis. But the star of it is supposed to be a former tennis player who now goes to pickleball.
Yeah, it's probably based loosely off of Jack Sock, who left pro tennis and is now a pro pickleball player.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is he a great pickleball player or no?
He's top 5 in the
All
world.
right, you're anti-pickleball.
And he basically became top 5 in the world the second he picked up a pickleball paddle. That's how easy pickleball is.
Well, for excellent athletes, maybe.
For tennis players, pickleball is a piece of cake.
By the way, I gave you a shout out yesterday on UCSS because we were talking about whether or not Sam Merrill can dunk, and I was like, Dustin's 5'11", he's 40-something, and he can still dunk. And I know you're a great athlete, but like I got to imagine.
Well, Sam Merrill's a great athlete.
Yeah, I mean he's way taller than you.
What is he, 6'2"?
I think he's 6'4".
Oh, these people act like because he's white and he looks like he's short, he can't dunk.
I know. I was like, of course he can dunk. He just doesn't do it in games. Let's see what he's listed. He's listed at 6'4". Whether he's actually 6'4" or not, who knows? But he's listed at 6'4". I'm sure he claimed. Well, Mikey's friendly with him, so he chats with him off the air.
Okay.
And he says he can dunk. He had a what do you call it? He had a fast break by himself the other day, and he didn't dunk. And I guess his teammates were busting his chops about it, which they should.
Well, if you're not a dunker, you don't. The worst thing to have happen there is to go up and get sprited.
Oh, that
meaning
would be.
You try to cram it and then you get sprited.
Yeah,
that'd be worse. That'd be worse.
That's right. All right, let's get to the Cavs back in action tonight. Looking forward to seeing them play. They're a massive favorite over the woeful Brooklyn Nets. I know it's a terrible game, like terrible opponent, but excited to watch this game. Will you be able to watch it from the ship?
Great question. I have been able to use some of my apps outside of the country now that I'm on the boat, but sometimes they block that stuff because we're not in the United States.
Right.
I will try to watch.
You lay in the 16
I have
and a half?
I have league pass. I do have league pass. So
are you laying the 16 and a half?
It's always hard to. That's such a big number, man.
Yeah.
The Cavs should win by 20, 30 points, but if it's 20, but all of a sudden if it's 20 and there's 2 minutes to go in the game, and the Nets make a 3 and then get fouled or whatever, or make a couple of layups, then all of a sudden they lose by 16. If I was going to bet this game, and I'm not, I would take the first half probably minus 9.5.
It's a good call. What about the over/under? Obviously, the Cavs are the second best offensive team in the league, best in the East in terms of points per game. But the Nets,
I wouldn't touch the over under because you don't want to rely upon a bad team to score.
Right. The Nets are the lowest scoring team in the league.
Look at the Cavaliers team total over, and that's what you want to. That's the bet you want to take.
That's a good call. Yeah, that's a good call. Cavs are now here at Bet Rivers the favorites to win the East. Obviously they start the final 27 games or co-favorites to win the East at plus 300. They start.
Yeah, they were plus 1,200 by the way about a week ago.
Yeah.
When they still might be actually. What are they to win the number 1 seed?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think we'll see if we can find
that. Was what they were plus 1,200 on.
Okay.
So, sorry, to win the Eastern Conference, that makes sense. But to win the number 1 seed, it was 12-1 ish, depending where you look. But that's one that's fascinating to me because I do think the Cavs could go on a massive run here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's impossible. They have a lot of tough games coming up in the next month, and then the final month of the season, they play pretty much all terrible teams. And the Celtics and Knicks both have tough schedules. But it's not like Detroit has fallen off at all. Now, we'll see how it goes the rest of the year. But Detroit, they won 3 in a row and 8 of 10 going into the break. Cavs only made up 1 game on them in their last 10 games. I think the second seed is certainly very doable. The top of the East looks really good. I think the Pistons, Celtics, Knicks, and Cavs right now all look like really good teams. Maybe not on the level of the Thunder or the Spurs or the Nuggets, but all 4 of those teams are pretty good. That should be, I would assume that's the Final 4 in the East. We'll see. But it should be pretty good competition. Celtics, if the Celtics get Jason Tatum back, I mean, think about the Celtics and Joe Mazzulla, the job he's done, and they are in second place without their best player. That's crazy.
He's a hell of a coach, man.
He's done a great job. It's
So
incredible.
here's an interesting bet for you.
Yeah.
You can get the Cavs around 10-1.
Yeah.
To win the division.
Oh, because they're in the same division with the Pistons. Yeah.
So I kind of like that because I think the Pistons, they got the suspensions that are coming here after the All-Star break. I think 4 guys got suspended.
Yeah.
And then, the Cavs could go on we've seen it happen before where they go on like a 20-game winning streak.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's crazy at all that they could still be the top seed in the East. I definitely see that as a possibility. I say they finish. I think in the end they'll finish second because I think it's going to be hard to make up 7 games. They're actually 8 back in the loss column. But you never know. Crazier things have certainly happened. We saw the Guardians come back from a 15 and a half game deficit in the American League Central last year with like 4 weeks to go. So if that could happen, anything could happen. One thing we forgot to mention when it comes to the Browns, so we'll wrap it with this. Wyatt Teller, his wife Carly, put out an Instagram post yesterday saying goodbye to Cleveland. We kind of knew the writing was on the wall, but that's confirmation that Wyatt Teller is gone. I know Wyatt Teller wanted to stay. Listen, he was not the same player anymore. It's always sad though when a player has been. I know he wasn't here his whole career because he started with the Bills. But a guy like Wyatt Teller, who's mostly been a good player, liked it here in Cleveland, was a fan favorite. I understand what the Browns are doing here. Basically, the only smart thing Andrew Berry's done is let guys go before they completely fall off the cliff. And I think he's probably doing it again here. But it still sucks. It's still a bummer. Just like with Nick Chubb. And he doesn't have the level of Nick Chubb. But you knew it was time to move on from Nick Chubb, but it was still a bummer when they did it. And to a lesser degree here, I think the same with Wyatt Teller. But I don't know. You still think he's got something left?
It's easier to say goodbye to players at the end of their, once they're on the back nine, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like Chubb, obviously fan favorite, coming back from a knee injury. Tough to see him score touchdowns for Houston, but he's still not the same player that he was here.
Yeah.
Like even though he's had some productivity in Houston, he's not the same player.
No, not even close.
Teller had 7 really good years here, man. I remember when they traded for the dude.
Yeah, it was a great trade.
Great trade.
Yeah, they gave up I think a 5th-round pick for him, and he was really good. And he started
Wasn't
tailing
he
off.
Originally like a 3rd-round pick or a 2nd-round pick?
I thought it was less than that. I thought it was a 5th.
No, I'm saying when he was drafted. Wasn't he drafted by the Bills?
Yeah.
In like the 3rd round or something.
Let's see. Let's see. And his play started to tail off really probably in the 24 season, and last year he didn't have a very good year, but overall his time here was really good. So he only played 1 year with Buffalo in 2018.
Yep.
He was a 5th-round pick actually by the Bills, 166th overall.
Do you remember where we were at?
Yeah, we were at a bar.
Do you remember where? I do.
I don't. Go ahead.
Barley House. It was on a preseason game day.
That's right. Now that you say it, I picture us sitting there. Yeah, August 29th, 2019. Yeah. He was so the Bills traded Wyatt Teller and a 7th-round pick to the Browns.
Was that on our faniversary as well?
Yes. The 8th year.
Yep.
The Browns gave up a 5th and 6th-round picks to get Wyatt Teller and a 7th-round pick. So that was a steal.
It was a great move.
Yeah, great move. We wish him the
best.
best.
John Dorsey made that move.
He did. If I'm Wyatt Teller, I'm going to, Kansas City or Baltimore or Buffalo or one of those teams with a great quarterback. And Philadelphia, if those teams need a guard. I think if he's got really good players around him, I think he could still be serviceable.
I agree. I mean, you certainly wouldn't want him here. The Browns are building a brand new offensive line. Like he as an aging veteran, declining performance, is not going to want to be around a bunch of rookies or veterans who are not that good.
That's right. All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us today. Thanks, everybody, for watching and listening. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Dustin, enjoy the rest of the cruise, and we'll see you next week. There you go. Z and Alex, thanks to them for producing. We'll talk to you all later right here in the bullpen. Bull and Fox with Bet Rivers. See you, everybody.